that kind of answer your question?
To a certain degree, but I know that people I've had a lot of people speak.
Sure.
In reference to, they thought all these things that they wanted in the outdoor aquatics was going to be in the outdoor aquatics, whether it was in the indoor or not, one versus the other. They don't want to be inside, they want to be outside. And during the outside season, even though it was only 2.5 months long, they don't want to be inside. They want to be outside, and they want to have these things that they thought they were getting outside. That's what they told. Not sure.
I was just reminded when the survey was done, we weren't contemplating both indoor and outdoor. We still had an outdoor pool, and then we didn't know what we were going to do with the community center. We could have rebuilt it, and so that's a good point, not an excuse, but a good point, that when we put this survey in, we did not know we were going to have one facility, indoor and outdoor. We didn't know if we might still be with the French Center and a redone community center. So that's a valid point. Yours is a valid point. So I'm going to read this also because there seems to be a belief that some things that have come forward and some changes that have occurred on the site have altered or created a situation where we can't do some of these things, or that we have had a conversation with the library and we're bringing in a parking structure and that has somehow constrained what we're doing. So once again, I hate to read verbatim, but this is a year and a half ago, this is what the master plan said. This is what we walked out of the master plan and started the conversation, the sales tax initiative, with this information. Preferred concept. Based on input from the December 16 steering committee and public meeting, the preferred concept is the community center with indoor and outdoor aquatics. The preferred site development strategy locates a new community center and outdoor aquatic center toward the north end of Vavra Park in an area that is currently home to the Merriam Aquatic Center. The fact that it is already developed will help to minimize excessive excavation expenses compared to situating the facility uphill to the south. I'm going to read that again. The fact that it is already developed will help to minimize excessive excavation expenses compared to situating the facility uphill to the south. The remaining space is proposed as parking and pedestrian circulation, allowing for small pockets of park green space to be integrated adjacent to the new facility or remain as it exists presently. The preferred arrangement of facilities places a new community center in the northeast corner of the site along Slater Street. This proximity to the neighborhood east of Slater Street will require sensitivity when developing the architecture and adjacent landscape treatments to present an appropriate neighborhood interface for the new facility. A significant advantage of this location is the visibility that a new center will have to southbound traffic on IKEA Way. This provides a great opportunity for Merriam to make an architectural statement visible to many non-residents with this important new civic asset. And non-residents, we'll hear that mentioned again. A new outdoor aquatic center is situated west of the community center, similar to its current location on the site. The aquatic center lies in the foreground of the view shed to a new community center from the north. It also takes advantage of the existing service access location. A primary factor in determining the overall site arrangement is providing one clearly visible and identifiable public entrance to the community center. This is accomplished by positioning the public parking on the south side of the facility, developing a prominent architectural entry treatment, and linking the two with a well-planned pedestrian entry sequence in the landscape. In this concept, all visitors pass through the main entrance of the community center with access to interior facilities as well as seasonal outdoor aquatic. The configuration simplifies control staffing and will also allow the indoor and outdoor facilities to share certain facilities, reducing development costs and long-term maintenance expense. Site access is provided from Slater Street and IKEA Way to provide ease of access for visitors from various directions and to provide easy access for emergency service vehicles from the nearby police and fire stations. The access from IKEA Way also provides an easy connection point to the adjacent municipal parking lot in the event that overflow parking is needed for larger events to take place at the new facilities. Service vehicles have access from the north end of the site to minimize visual impact to the facility. These are the concept plans that we had over a year ago. They're concept plans. Most of the things that we walked out of there with are concept plans. But this is what we showed everyone. This is what was in the master plan. This was the preferred concept. This is the indoor. That was the budget that we based all of these conversations on, and I thought it was worthwhile. I didn't even have it in here. I really just wanted to show the upper portion of this particular slide until I read this. Funding options for preferred concept. Well, there is a sincere interest in the creation of a new pool and more functional indoor facilities. Focus groups and staff would like to see attention given to financial sustainability with any new development. This is what we rolled out of the master plan. This is the concept. This is taken from our RAP cards, this was what we sold to the public, if that's the right word. This was the design that we showed. These are the proposed amenities that we never said that we were going to do a 50-meter pool. We never showed a 50-meter pool. We said that these were the type of amenities that would go in this site. These are the things, and they're proposed. I mean, once we got down to it, we didn't know what was going to go in here. I'll tell you, that you don't know what the cost of the site's going to be. You don't know what the cost of steel is going to be at any given day. These are all realities that we have to roll into those things. And when you're a year and a half, possibly 2, 3 years, we didn't know at that point in time what the timetable was going to be to deliver on this facility. I think we had internal hopes because we have facilities that have fallen apart. But the reality is we didn't know. So these are proposed amenities. These are the things that we proposed. That's where we proposed it to be. That's more or less what we proposed it to look like. Yes, sir.
A couple slides back. The projected cost.
This one.
That number, how was it arrived at? As opposed to taking a set of functionalities, figuring out roughly what that might cost. Was that how that was done? Or was that more? Was there more to it than that?
It's in the master plan document, if I recall, and correct me, anybody that has more recent information than I do. That's usually based on square footage. They say these are the needs. You need this much gym space. You need this much space, and there is an industry standard. You folks can probably speak to this better than I can. There's an industry standard that if you have 10,000 square foot of gym space, the current cost for that per square foot, square yard, whatever the metric is this much. And they designed it around, well, if this is this much of this, and this is this much of this, and this is this much of this. They went a little bit more in depth, but that's the nugget of their calculus.
Following up on that, is there a breakdown between the aquatics budget and the other pieces of it? Because that square outdoor pool is actually a 25-meter pool. There's also 2 other pools outdoor that are shown there.
Sure.
And there's also an indoor.
Sure. This is
indoor aquatics as well.
This is spatial at best, but it's the best information we have when we don't have anything designed.
But I understand that. But I'm asking the dollars pieces, how that, what dollars were in that slide that has the total. Is that
I think I understand.
4.4 for aquatics.
4.4 million for aquatics. That's what it's done.
Is that both?
Yeah.
It's the aquatics program.
And then our
So it'd be
schematic
the
from
program.
McCarthy coming out of schematic was right at 4.42.
So then when we took the master plan and went with the folks that we have here this evening, that's the exact same budget that we carried into that.
But there's 2 pools less on the outboard than what we've put out to the public.
Sure. Once again, this is a spatial diagram. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, the doorway isn't right here, and the hallway isn't
We have
like
a
this.
horseshoe, and we have
Right.
other.
So, but for us to get to the point, another thing to keep in mind is that many folks that are where we are right now went through this whole process and kept going. We got to a point where we said we have multiple options. We're hearing multiple voices in the community. We need to hit pause and we need to go and ask the residents what they want. And that's where we got into the sales tax initiative. That's when we started to have a conversation about here's the options. We couldn't advocate for one, but here's what we have today. Here's what we could do if we wanted to spend some money on it to fix it up. And here's another option that's the result of the master plan. So this is where we pause.
Can I see that?
Yes, sir.
So essentially, of the 29 million total project cost, essentially 4.4 million was what we allocated for.
Well, 4.4 to 25.
Okay, 4.4 to 25. That's what we allocated. So basically 20 million for everything else. So that includes part of the building, the indoor aquatics also. So the 4.4 million, again, I sort of like to see where the original estimates were because what we may have thought, and we put out there, if we only budgeted 4.4 million, that's not what was on the market. Because there's clearly more pool.
I'm not sure I understand your question, but we didn't market what any of this was going to cost by functional area. We marketed what the overall facility was going to cost, because that's the conversation that we had to pause to have to go, are we okay with
And
this?
what I'm questioning is whether the community was fully aware of that, or was that all within the small working group that was looking at the numbers and looking at the estimates?
I don't know who read I can't speak for who read the master plan. It's in the master plan.
We went through the master plan in excruciating detail.
I mean,
Had work
this is
sessions
the
where we
two-year
all-
process, and we've had many,
And they were
many
public
conversations.
meetings.
Well, somebody came up with the number that was used and also the drawings.
That is true, and it's
And I'm
in the
just trying to
master
find out
plan.
how that happened.
Master
I don't
plan.
have that with me.
I'm sure it's based on, my guess would be it's based on the needs of what we got out of the survey, what we got from the data exercise, and then we sat down and we said, this is the square footages you need to allot, taking into account what those things cost, what they get subsidized, and what the business plan, if we're going to have any level of cost recovery. My guess is that all of those things influence that decision. I can't tell you exactly where 4.4 versus 4.6 versus 7 came from. 4.4 might have something to do with what our current aquatics.
I think it's challenging to look at any of this in a vacuum because we have the rest of the building
Sure.
site. I mean, we can say here are our targets for each area and we're meeting the targets, but it's ultimately like a series of levers of how much does it cost to construct this versus this, and are we delivering on all the programmatic needs?
Sure.
So-
Once again,
Yeah.
well, we are, great point.
Yeah.
Well, we're here to talk about aquatics, and there's people that are passionate about aquatics. We're building a community center. There are many amenities in the community center that we have to be mindful of. That, as Meredith says, as we turn this knob, sometimes we have to turn this knob down. If we wiggle this over here, something completely on the other side of the building may start shaking, and it has an impact over there. So all of this, well, not to not answer your question, it's just there are many things that play into how these decisions get made that aren't as simple as
No, I
where
understand.
did we get.
Well,
So-
even before that, I'm sorry,
That's okay.
even before that, a couple of years ago, when we were talking about the pool in the community center, when we first really started talking about it, the conversation was around the monies we were going to spend on refurbishing the pool. And numbers were being thrown around to the tune of about $6 million to redo our basin, if I'm not mistaken, because we were going to not only have to redo the basin, but we were going to have to redo the pumps, the pump room,
The filter
all
house.
that, and so the filter house. And so, and that's when we started talking about putting everything together and rolling it all together as one. And how we came to the 4 million, I don't remember, but
So I can speak to that. So one of the things that was part of my part in the master plan was size of spaces. What do you get asked? What is traditional throughout the community, not only for our community, what serves our community, but also kind of what's a nationwide standard. So one of the things they looked at, and we've shared some of that information with you, is what's our bather load? How many people visit the pool every year? Where do we need, because that comes into the right sizing of the pool. So that square footage and that budget was based on years of data of attendance, and we've shared some of that with you in regards to what that data looks like. But at one point, our pool attendance averages out, and our average bather load per day is about 250 to 300 people a day. Now, we have peak days when it's really, really hot, so those days were taken into consideration. But that information is given to the people that helped us build the master plan, and they took that information and said, in order to accommodate that bather load, you need this much square footage times the estimate that is out in their world to how much to build that is how the budget of 4.5 was set. So this started back with our own data.
well,
And we're going to show some more of that data.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have, I'd like to present some information also, because when I heard this 2 weeks ago, or actually, when I actually saw the design a week ago, you know, my background is engineering and construction, and so I see spaces, I understand something about those things, and I became pretty concerned, and I started looking in quite a bit of detail, and obviously I have plots and stuff.
Sure.
Can
we get through some of this, and then we'll get to your presentation?
But what I just, the bather load, is essentially a limit that people can be in the pool safely from health standpoint, health and safety standpoint. It is not a usability load. It's just like when you build a building, and there are codes.
We'll get to bather load. I'll be interested to hear what your metric would be versus industry standard. So inside the community center initial floor plan concept.
Sure.